So you guys can.
Probably.
Your action. Remember, you still-
Right?
I never covered this file, so.
Cover?
Yeah.
All you had was.
1 minute.
Like both.
Well, everybody.
That was the name?
Microphone turn on.
Any budget meeting?
The time when you get up to.
I will be flat on the table before the next. No.
Don't stand up. 7 o'clock, all the, August 8th, 2023, Town of Clear Lake Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. Mr. Roberts, will you be good enough to do a,
You want me to do roll calls? Oh. This is Lucky. Oh, sorry, yeah. Roski,
Present.
Kylie,
Present.
repeat,
Present.
Squander,
Present.
fine.
Present.
Right, you have all four.
The agenda was published, I'd like to just, I don't think this is a change to the agenda. But under item E, budget items, we have none. I'd like to have just a word about the fact that we're actually having budget this. I would like to implement the budget for August 8th, 2023. Do I have a second? On favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion to implement the budget is carried. Minutes of June 13th, we had a brief meeting on June 13th. Where we discussed the adoption of a new form that will allow us to vote in a fashion very similar to Steuben County. Anybody have any comments about the meeting, the minutes of that meeting? Any questions or corrections? Hearing no comments, we have a motion to accept the August 2nd, I'm sorry, accept the June 13th minutes. Second.
You're first.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
First second. All right. I have a motion and a second on the favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion to accept the June 13th minutes as written is carried. Budget items, again, in the past, the BZA with budget. BZA and particularly engaged in the conversation about the budget items. This year, that conversation has started to take place, so we've had some input into what the BZA has experienced in the past 12 months or so, and are likely to experience going forward. So, good news is the conversation has started. We have a request for variance application 2023-03 under Salmon County Parker 28 West Midway Drive. I ask our zoning administrator, Robert Hawley, to present the request and certify that the required public notices have been done. Robert, to you.
All right, so. 2023-03, zoning variance request from Mr. Parker, and Sarcones also here on their behalf as well. They are looking for a setback reduction from 25 feet to 20.8 feet from the road right away. The hearing, or I'm sorry, the public notice was sent out on July 18th, 2023. And 3 adjacent owners were sent legal notices and certificate of mailing, and then 14 administered property owners who sent courtesy notices, which courtesy.
Yeah, that was.
So anyways, the public notice and the paper notices and the certified mailings are all on file for review if anyone wants to see those. So going back through the application, you can see there on this screen of all the notices of people within 300 feet, and the 2 pink highlights are people within 300 feet. To the north of the property, there is a lake accessory structure. And then east and west, they're both lake residential, and then on the south is their lake. So that's why you'll see that there's only 2 owners that actually abut this property. You guys do have the criteria for the development standards on that first page. And then things to consider when with the variance. Something new that I added was the zoning matrix. Gives you guys an overview and public an overview of what's required and what's being provided. As you'll tell, everything other than the front yard or the roadside yard is compliant. Oops. Okay, so feedback. We sent the feedback out, we used the updated form. Oh, okay,
You're talking about public feedback?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, let's hold on
okay,
that. So you introduced the variance request, front yard setback.
yes,
Okay, then, here's the hearing process. Our zoning administrator has presented the request and the fact that the public notice has been met. I'll ask for the board to open the first. We'll hear the applicant's presentation of variance requests. Then we'll have a summary of what Robert has received from the public and the neighbors adjoining property. Followed by public comments on opposition to the variance request. Followed by public comments in favor of the variance request. And the BZA numbers will be added. We do have to ask questions following each speaker. And then we'll close the public hearing and we'll move on to the 2. Thank you very much. Then Robert will restate the variance request. The ZBA will debate the request. We'll proceed to vote with final action to continue the hearing. Go to final action 4 to continue the hearing, and then we'll either deny it, approve it, or approve it. We have a new voting process this evening, so it might be a little funky, but we'll get to it. Robert. 2023-03 requirements of legal public notice have been met. Any questions, Robert? Not hearing any. Do I hear a motion to open the hearing to the public?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Then I would invite the applicant to present their request. Please, Mr. Parker.
thanks for
Yeah, we're gonna ask you to.
to the end. You hear me all right? You probably, as long as you speak loud enough, I'm talking.
Well, my name's Tom Parker. This is my wife Jenny. 28 West Clear Lake Drive. And as of this year in June, she retired, so we're full-time Lake residents. So, we're really happy to be up here, but looking at our property, we would like to add a garage attached to the house. We can enter from the garage to the house for weather reasons. So we called Star Builders and they gave us a nice drawing, some plans to look at. And that's where we're at. So that's where we're asking for about a little over 4 feet variance toward the street side to make this plan work, current plan. Talking with the neighbors, went around and asked most of them, and they didn't see any issues at all doing this plan. And I didn't hear anything negative from anybody, so that was positive for us. So can't think of anything else. It's pretty simple. We just want to add the garage for weather reasons getting to the house.
Yeah, have any questions for Mr. Parker? I have a quick one. The variance is because the new garage is approaching into the front yard setback. And on the west, it appears that it's not very much. And on the east, perhaps a little more. Do you have those dimensions available? How much of an encroachment is that?
Max encroachment is 4.2 feet, it's on the west side. On the east, if I had to take a quick guess, I'd say roughly 3 feet beyond the setback line.
So the issue is the garage is encroaching into the front yard setback by 3 or 4 feet, depending on what side we're on. And why not just move the garage back so it's not an issue?
But if you look at our property, we have a kitchen window that's right there that we have a nice view of the lake. And then it also would impact an upstairs window. Yeah, this is the window right here. If we moved it back, we would either have to remove that window or move it over. It would impact our kitchen that we just remodeled. And then same with the upstairs. If we moved it back at 4 feet, it would impact what we do with that upstairs window, which is also a great view of the lake.
Upstairs window and then the bedroom.
Yeah.
And the small window next to the garage is the kitchen window.
That's the kitchen.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. We're on the public feedback side. Robert, would you please, within a summary of the responses from recent property and the interested property owners, perhaps explain to everybody what the difference between those two is?
Well, to be honest, I didn't
Okay,
I didn't do that in the last variance either. So, but the difference between adjacent are obviously, people who share, property lines. If you omit the roads, we still share a property line technically, so it can even be people on the opposite side of the road.
Sure.
In this case, the back lots are owned by the front lot owners, so that's why you only see the two. And then everyone within 300 feet that's not directly adjacent is the courtesy notices. The response from them, honestly, I don't know. Came back from that.
hang on, but definitely, I would be very, I personally would be very interested in what Dolores Howard, the neighbors west, and those of them that are in Maury, to the east, had to say about it. They were sent notices, did they respond to those notices?
So,
Do we know?
anyone that wasn't wished to kept anonymous was not directly adjacent to the,
But these folks were all sent notices.
correct.
So did they not respond to those notices?
The people that are directly adjacent did not respond in the fact that, I don't know if they responded, but for
They
the.
didn't respond as, they didn't respond to the notices, they would have responded to the Clear Lake, town of Clear Lake form that was posted on that.
They put up, but no one that was directly adjacent said that they were, so I can't see who, if they were anonymous. I don't know. I can tell you the people that are not anonymous weren't directly adjacent, and that's all I know. So we gave the opportunity for the residents to be able to remain anonymous, and so I don't know if they did or didn't.
Okay, so then the public response.
So the public response was 5-4, 5 in support, 4 in opposition. So, and then I'll kind of go down the results of each finding of fact. So finding of fact 1, the approval of the variance will not be injure the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community. 6 were in agreement and 3 disagreed. No comments were reported. Finding of fact number 2, the use and value of the adjacent area adjacent to the property, including the development standards variance, included in the development standards variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. It was 5 in agreement and 4 in disagreement, and the comment in opposition said, will the variance enhance the lake for the property owner, neighbors, or lake, or will it add more variance requests? If the variance was always yes, then everyone should continue to bring the variance, will continue to bring variance requests. I think we want enhancements and improvements of properties, but not additional density and encroachment. Finding of fact 3, the strict application of terms of zoning ordinance or UDO will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. 5 were in agreement, 4 were in disagreement, no comments were reported.
Going forward, I'd like to modify our process so that we actually solicit input from those immediately adjacent folks and really the other people who are within that 300 area. Something other than just getting the public input forms. I would be very interested in what the 2 immediately adjacent neighbors felt about this light encroachment into the front yard setback.
Okay. If information's there, I can do that.
I have a question. Were they sent letters? Were the adjacent people sent letters, or are they only expected to reply on the forms?
Everyone was sent a letter with the instructions how to fill out the form. And then if they had any issues with that, we have
But
to
they were
address
sent
that.
letters.
Yes, everything was sent on within 300 feet and the adjacent.
So perhaps we could, for these folks who are affected, 300-foot radius and the immediate adjacent neighbors, perhaps we could ask them to put a stance over that and roll a post or something, and not just a thing on the public forum. I could ask them for their
Well,
input.
I mean, you're talking about something outside of our process. We can
I
discuss
don't
this.
know what we are. I think that we.
I think we are now. Because we agreed that we were gonna use the public forum to provide feedback.
Yeah, for the community at large.
Well, we can't just say now somebody's gonna.
And I think that's not directly related to what we're working at right now, so we need to move forward. We can talk about that. We can talk about that more after.
Okay.
Robert, I do have
They
one
have
question.
a question, they was
Oh,
saying.
yeah, go ahead.
I do have one comment. We did ask our immediate neighbors, the Maoris and the Horvath for, they signed a letter that said that they were fine with the variance. And we put that in our application.
Yeah,
So-
you're right.
In support.
Yeah, those are even.
Both of these.
My apologies, I forgot about that.
And I didn't connect with that either.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. public comments in opposition to the variance request. Would anyone care to open the public comment? Would anyone care to speak in opposition to it? Hearing none. Are there any public comments in favor?
Madam Sanko, 144.
Would you be good enough to just?
Sure. I went down to the property and looked at it, and I think it would be a great addition for them. Especially since they're gonna be here full time. And it doesn't come towards the road any further than any house next to them. So I think it would look really nice.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Any further comments? Does PBA members have any questions for the speaker? A motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed, same sign. Motion to close the hearing is the public is carried. Ask Robert again to just briefly restate the variance request and the applicable provisions of the UDO.
Okay, again, the variance request is for, roadside or front yard setback of, from 25 feet to 20.8 feet. As is requested, all other, UDO requirements are met. So,
Additional discussion between the BZA members. Additions of any? There are none, do I have a motion to receive the final action on variance request 2023-03? Okay. Okay.
So each one of you guys have a form in front of you. Instead of like trying to go down each one and make a mess how it has been, we're just gonna let each one of you vote. Pass them down to me, I'll record the tallies and then go over the total cumulative vote. If that's how we were looking at doing.
Real quickly, just let me restate the findings of fact. The first one is basically the public notice is sent. The second one is, and correct me if I get the order wrong, approval of the variance request would not be injurious to public health. But the third one, approval of the variance request would not negatively impact the use of value of vacant properties. And then, yes, the beauty of the definition of practical difficulty with regard to one's ability to improve land stemming from regulations of the UDO. Practical difficulty is not a hardship. Rather, it's a situation where the owner could comply with the regulations of the UDO. Would like a variance to develop and improve the site in a practical manner. Then the last one is the strict application of something to UDO will result in a practice. So now we would have Robert found out, ask the various board members to use the new form to vote on each of the vote yes or no on each of the findings of fact. If you vote no on any of them, you got to state a reason. You vote yes, no reason required. Then at the bottom, section 3, decisions, approve the conditions, table of deny, and then please sign it. And
Once the BZA is voted, the voting forms will be available.
Okay.
At the end of the meeting.
There's nothing secret about it. Trying to work around the double negative. And only a minute to tabulate the results and yeah. What do you think?
All right, so. I don't want to say the vote is in. Anyways, and I'm just gonna read them down so that way it's recorded for the Zoom purposes too, for any one that needs to come back and look at it. For finding of fact number 1, legal notice of the petition has been provided in accordance with the applicable Indiana code, and notice has been made to the appropriate landowners. The vote was 5-0 and yes. Standard 2, the approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The vote was 5-0 for yes. Now standard 3, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The vote was yes, 5-0. The strict application in terms of the zoning ordinance will result in the practical difficulties on the use of the property. The vote was yes, 5-0. All 4 standards have been met. For the variance.
Final action then is to approve the variance. Old business. Do we need to vote to certify that on anything? Mike?
You'll just need a second.
Yeah, so at the end of the meeting, you sign the form and.
So then we're moving on to old business. Rules of procedure, final disposition, recording this with Steuben County. I know that we've agreed informally to have Robert.
Yes.
So Robert's gonna take care of filing this with Steuben County. I'll work on that one. Rules of procedure change the budget, 10.4. It's in process. I don't know if we're gonna be asked to vote on a budget or not. But the current bill I get working on. New business. Discussion.
I just had one comment on the last meeting that brought up some conversations and comments about public comment timing. And limiting it to 5 minutes and, well, we limit it to 5 minutes, but ways to somewhat enforce that, right? Without somebody going on for a long time after that. Did we have officially? Okay.
Well, in our rules of procedure, we have stated clearly that the next time is 5 minutes. So if that hasn't been done, I think that I should cut them off.
That is the maximum time. If it was full though, and then we had a whole line online, would you do 3 minutes? If you're saying 5 is the max?
I have suggested that we go to 3 residents to begin with, so I would be glad to, the rule of procedure to say 5. Most people don't give 5.
I'm okay with 5. I'm just, it's difficult for both the speaker and us to really know when 5 minutes happen. So
I have a head time.
okay, so
And
we're
the-
gonna
and the president.
okay.
And the rules of procedure state that speakers should not be repeating the same points that have already been made. So again, it can be up to that'd be up to you.
You can act some or gone.
Yes, and feel free to vote me if I don't do that.
Okay, no, that's it.
Then I would have a motion for that.
So moved.
Wow.